The Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation started with a simple goal: to conduct scientific investigations in medicine. In our labs and clinics, scientists work to unravel the mysteries of human health, searching for the next breakthrough one experiment at a time.
Hello, I'm Andrew Westmackett, and I'm the Director of the Office of Technology Ventures here at OMRF. Osteoarthritis is the leading cause of chronic disability in the United States and is now the third most rapidly rising condition associated with disability worldwide. So now let's hear from Dr. Jeffries, who is an Associate Professor in the Arthritis and Clinical Immunology Research Program here at OMRF.
We originally focused on basic changes in cartilage in knee and hip OA patient samples because these samples switch the way that they make cartilage. The cells that are supposed to make cartilage stop making it, and they start actively breaking down the cartilage around them instead. And I was particularly interested in how this might happen in the first place, since I see these patients in clinic. And we were mainly focusing on epigenetic changes, which are ways where genes are turned on and off in sort of a semi-permanent fashion. The particular epigenetic change that we are interested in is DNA methylation, which is the addition of methyl groups to particular DNA sequences. To investigate this, we performed the first large genome-wide epigenetic study of knee OA and hip OA patients in the US. What we found was somewhat unexpected. The majority of the genes that we found that were epigenetically dysregulated were in immune-related pathways. Other researchers about the same time were finding that low levels of chronic inflammation were associated with OA. Since we know that epigenetic changes are some of the first biological signals that change as someone develops a chronic disease, we started to wonder whether we might find epigenetic changes in immune cells in peripheral blood, for example, that might allow us to predict whether a patient was going to go on to develop OA or whether an early OA patient might go on to experience rapid progression sooner rather than later. So the crux of our technology is that we've been able to develop models based on a few epigenetic changes in peripheral blood that can tell us whether a knee OA patient is likely to experience rapid pain or radiographic progression over the next 5 years or so. We don't currently have any OA-targeted drugs, so the focus of the entire field really is to try to enroll patients in clinical trials that are likely to experience some sort of benefit. Unfortunately, most OA patients will experience progression over years to decades, and it's really not feasible for a clinical trial to last 10 years for phase 1 and 10 years for phase 2 and take 40 or 50 years for a drug to come to market. So what we really need in the clinical trial space is the ability to include patients that are likely to experience rapid progression in just a few years so that we can get a clinical trial done in a few years instead of a few decades. Other researchers have been working on this problem too, and they have developed some models that can predict the risk of a patient going on to experience progression. But the problem is these models that are based either on X-ray or MRI or in some cases serum or urine various proteins require multiple measurements before they're able to offer a prediction over the course of several years. Our technology is unique in that we're able to offer the prediction of whether a patient will experience rapid progression based on a single time point blood draw at baseline. This really will allow pharmaceutical companies to develop OA drugs fairly rapidly and not have to include decades of follow-up. From a commercialization standpoint, we're looking to work with pharmaceutical companies and others that are tackling this debilitating disease of OA. We're hoping to work alongside them to help them make otherwise impossible clinical trials feasible. Really hoping that in the future, when I see a knee OA patient in clinic, I can actually give them something that'll make their disease better.